Big story. Now, viewers, Rahul Gandhi, who has accused the Prime Minister of betraying the interests of our forces. He has vividly described the Prime Minister Surrender Modi all through the standoff in icy eastern Ladakh. Rahul Gandhi has sought to project himself as the guardian of the honor of India's forces. But viewers, there's a gap between Rahul's anti-Modi rhetoric and the reality. It may shock you to know that Rahul Gandhi has not even attended one meeting of the Standing Committee of Parliament on Defence. Now, this is not an ordinary committee. This committee is a vital interface between the needs of the military and the government. The committee keeps the government honest and ensures that it honors its commitment to our forces. So, viewers, it stands to reason that if anyone chooses to skip the meetings of the committee, that individual is betraying the interest of our forces. This is a very important committee. What's more, viewers, Times Now has learned that not only has the Gandhi scion not attended any of the panel meetings, but he has also skipped at least 2, possibly 3 trips to the frontiers to spend time with our forces. Indeed, Rahul Gandhi has time to lunch with the Chinese ambassador to India at the height of the Doklam crisis, but can't spare 1-2 days to spend with our forces at forward posts like Nathula. All of this has come out. Times Now has brought it out. I want you to see these pictures, viewers. Watch this picture. These are the dates of the sitting. These are the pictures of a group of MPs, members of the Standing Committee for Defence, that went out to Nathula. It's right at the frontier. Very important staging ground. Very important tactically to stand with our forces. But Rahul Gandhi is not to be seen in these pictures. The entire panel goes. For what? I'll tell you, viewers, for what. Here it is, the minutes of the Standing Committee meetings on this particular visit. Now, when our MPs went there, the army told them, that they were requiring surveillance equipment to keep an eye on the Chinese. So in their committee report, and I'm going to read out, it is desired that the immediate requirement for surveillance equipment at Eastern Command and Northern borders, including Nathula Post, must be fulfilled at the earliest. This committee prepared a report saying that the army requires this surveillance equipment and the government must provide it. Now, if all these MPs had decided, viewers, to not attend this panel's meetings, if they decided never to go to our frontier posts, the army's voice would never be heard. And the government could never be brought to book for not providing them the equipment. Surveillance equipment, no less. Surveillance equipment which is essential to ensure that our borders are not transgressed. This is what it says. Also, complete requirement of the surveillance equipment must be attended to through central procurement as the border areas are sensitive in nature. The committee emphasizes that no stones shall be left unturned in order to develop a foolproof borderline. Rahul Gandhi constantly talks about how the Chinese have crossed the borderline, violated the borderline. They've come into our territory. They're holding our territory. So Rahul Gandhi, you speak for the forces, but you don't want to attend a meeting. Not one meeting. 11 meetings, viewers, 0 attendance. To take forward the concerns of our forces and corner the government in Parliament. You don't do it. You don't even go to meet your forces, who are telling your fellow panelists, look, we have a problem. Can you go and tell the government that it needs to honor its obligation? You don't care. Why? Yet, when it came to Doklam, you were having lunch, and I want you to see those pictures, with the Chinese envoy at the height of the Doklam crisis, viewers. But you can't spare a day or two, 48 hours, 72 hours to meet your soldiers. This is very, very critical, because it's not as if anyone orders anybody to be on these panels. You choose to be on these panels. Let's show those pictures. Nizam Bhai, Let's bring them out. The 3 window. Let's show them. He has all the time, viewers, to have lunch with the Chinese envoy. He has all the time to go to Beijing and sign a document. But he has no time to visit as part of a panel to listen to your forces. What does that tell you? And I want to go straight across to Dr. Sumanth Raman. What does that tell you, Dr. Sumanth Raman? That Rahul Gandhi doesn't really care 2 hoots about the welfare of our forces. For him, they are just a tool, a means to an end, a political ends to target Modi, to target the government. That's all. They're a prop for him. A prop.
Detract from or to divert the attention from what is happening on the LAC. Second, it tells me that while it is disappointing that Rahul Gandhi has not attended a single one of these meetings, which I believe he should have, the point is this is not the issue now. Second, first, the point which is very important is the recommendations of these are not binding. They are only recommendatory in nature.
1 second. Look, let's not. Look, this is about optics, sir. This is not about. No, 1 second. This is not about pen pushing. This is about optics. Now, 1 second, Doctor, 1 second. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. And let me bring in Mr. Nalin Kohli. Since this is political, let's make it political. Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you. This is an important committee. This is an interface between the military, the government. The recommendations of this committee may or may not be binding, fine. But you get a lot of briefings. You do realize what the situation is. You become a more informed parliamentarian. You can ask the probing questions with credibility and hold the government to account for not doing enough for the military, but you don't show up. What does that tell you? That you're not really committed to the welfare of the military, doesn't it? I mean, there's no other way of looking at it, sir. Let's be honest.
Rahul, I don't think anybody can deny the import of a parliamentary standing committee, particularly on a strategic matter of defense. However, I'm constrained by the fact that I'm no longer officially representing the party as a spokesperson. I remain a member of the party, and therefore I'm not privy to the defense that Mr. Gandhi's office probably will have to give. There could be an uncanny coincidence for various reasons, but I'm nowhere here to rationalize why he was not there for such a long time. I do, however, Rahul, and I say so with all responsibility here, that I would dehyphenate the current crisis at the line of actual control with China and with Mr. Gandhi's very conspicuous absence in the Parliamentary Standing Committee. And I'm sure his office will definitely make some kind of a public statement on that. I do believe that, and I have said so on one of your programs earlier, Rahul, that at the moment, looking at the fact that you are dealing with an extremely dangerous, unpredictable, belligerent, and a bellicose neighbor who has been extremely, shall we say, kind of expansionary or hegemonic even when the UPA was in government, and now we are seeing it when Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister. This is not the time for a political one-upmanship. I've said so before. I've taken a lot of flack from people from my own party.
Sure.
But I do believe this is a time for a very mature consensus and not make ad hominem attacks on individuals. I do believe that the Prime Minister, he's got a big responsibility on his head. There are things that he could have done better. I think one of the problems, Rahul, with this government, and Nalin is a good friend of mine, I think he will surely answer that, is the impression or the perception that has been formed for a very long time is that this very opaque and very often tries to manipulate a headline. And I do believe on national security, foreign policy, territorial boundaries, a Chinese-Pakistan threat, you need to just rise above those petty parochial considerations and address the country in a very transparent manner. Okay. That's one thing that I would request the government
Nalin Kohli, can you dehyphenate this as easily, decouple it as easily as Sanjay Jha is trying to do? I mean, look, he's got a tough job on his hand. There is no official statement that has come out, except for Mr. Khera, who, of course, speaks as a spokesperson for the Congress party. He feels that this is not an issue that can be directly linked at all to Rahul Gandhi's commitment to the armed forces. He thought that it was a bunch of baloney. But how do you respond to it? Mr. Kohli?
Well, I have a few things to say, and I also don't agree with what Dr. Raman said. You have to take any committee of parliament seriously, whether it is recommendatory or whether it is mandatory. And second is, these are committees on which you choose to be. So these are not committees that you sit and say that let's go to the next, big picnic party and, have it. But even if it's a picnic party, if someone is saying, where was Mr. Rahul Gandhi? We do know that he travels globally a lot. I mean, of course, Corona may have come in and, stymied all his various international travel plans. But the fact of the matter is, if you choose to speak on China, if you choose to question the armed forces, if you and your party choose to raise questions on Balkot, on Uri, and now a daily tweet on the Indo-China situation, then yes, you will have to answer that why are you not serious about the very Committee on Defense and don't attend a single meeting? I mean, what was so pressing? Are you saying that you had no time? Are you not showing contempt to the committee of which you are a member? Are you not showing contempt to the forward post on which others are making the time to go? Is this not a learning time? Would this not have contributed to your knowledge base in terms of sensitive things that happen on the ground and what the armed forces may be concerned about? Would that not make you a better parliamentarian? But then perhaps Mr. Gandhi doesn't wish to be a better parliamentarian.
Okay.
His track record in the last parliament in terms of attendance and questions was pathetic. So maybe he's just carrying that legacy further.
Let me bring in Dr. Sumanth Raman. Thanks indeed, Sanjay Jha, for joining us this evening. Let me just bring in Dr. Sumanth Raman on this, since the next question was addressed to him. Dr. Sumanth Raman, you see, allow me to finish my question, sir, please. Look, Rahul Gandhi wants to be a part of this committee. He puts his hand up, says, I want to be a part of this committee, right? Obviously, there was a reason why he wanted to be a part of this committee. Yet, after electing to be a part of this committee, he doesn't show up. What does that tell you? He's not really committed to the welfare
Rahul,
of our armed forces.
It is sort
No
of
one forced
apparent
him.
that you have not gone through the attendees list for the meeting, where out of 31 members, except for the first meeting which 20 members attended, and 2 meetings which had 17 people, all the other meetings had less than 50% attendance. Many meetings had 11 out of 31, 12 out of 31, and so on. So I think that obviously we are interested in sort of having a go at Rahul Gandhi. If we were really interested in
Rahul
the
Gandhi
defense
would have done
of
well
this
had he
country,
attended 30%.
We should be.
Had he
I have
attended
the list. Shall I read it out?
40%. Had he attended
how many members
20%, but he
meetings on
attended
various days?
0%. It doesn't matter, sir. BJP chaps also didn't go. We know.
So why
We know,
are we
but just-
highlighting? So why can't we do this debate as parliament members cutting across party lines, not attending committee meetings?
One second. I'll tell you something, sir. I'll tell you something. It's very, very important, and you must realize this. Rahul Gandhi is no ordinary parliamentarian. It's a mistake to believe this. He is an opposition leader. He's a de facto leader of the opposition. He speaks for India's #1 opposition party as the inheritor, legatee of that party. And he sits. 1 minute. The BJP MPs can come and go. They may not even want to attend. But for an opposition MP not to attend is to let down you. Let down me.
No.
Let down the army. Because it is the opposition that keeps the government honest. If the opposition is not wanting to keep the government honest, it doesn't deserve to be the opposition. Then we don't have a functional democracy. That is why Times Now says that the big problem for the Congress are the Gandhis. I'm not also saying it anymore. Mr. Khare has said it. And Mr. Khare is a long-serving member in that sense of the advisory, one second, advisory kitchen cabinet of the Gandhis. And if he can say they've become the problem, sir, then maybe you should say the same, because they are a problem. They are not allowing for a strong opposition to hold the government to account. Dr. Ranganathan,
I'm not
listen,
here
sir.
to defend Rahul Gandhi in any way. I'm merely pointing out.
I'm glad, sir, because when I point the facts out to you, then you take a more reasonable approach. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, very quickly come in. Yes, I'll let you have the last word. I need to wrap up. Yes.
Yes. Yes, Rahul, I could go on and on about this, kind of shameless defense. It's as if a pupil telling the ma'am, please do not cut my marks just because I haven't attended your classes. Look at others, they also haven't attended the classes. So that's the excuse now. But be that as it may, Rahul, in the past couple of months, we have gone ad nauseum about what people have done and what people have not done.
Yeah.
But here are the 5 questions that Rahul has not answered. Very briefly, in 30 seconds. Number 1, how did China manage to occupy 640 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh during the UPA as disclosed by the UPA Foreign Secretary Shyam Saran? Number 2, how between 2010 to 2013 China managed to make nearly 600 incursions on the Indian side? Number 3, why did the UPA not disclose for 3 weeks a Chinese incursion on June 17, 2013 at Chumar for fear of public anger forcing cancellation of the defense minister's visit to China? Number 4, why on July 12, 2013 the Chinese entered 28 kilometers deep into our territory at Dapsang? And finally, number 5, why was the IAF proposal of an Indian air strike on Pakistani terror hideouts in the wake of 26/11 ignored by the then Prime Minister as disclosed by Air Chief Dhanoa? If Rahul Gandhi can answer all these 5 questions, I will salute him.
5 questions. The word, the ball, everything in Rahul Gandhi's court. I'll leave it at this, viewers. 5 questions for you to ponder, for Rahul Gandhi to answer. Navika Kumar with the news are coming up.